The fuck you think they're gonna be hanging, right?
Politics as usual.
Billionaire Palantir co-owner calls for return of public hangings to show masculine leadership in America. The fuck you think they're gonna be hanging, right? The reporting goes, the billionaire co-founder of software company Palantir has called for the return of public hangings in order to demonstrate masculine leadership.
We are leaving wokeness and weakness behind.
Get the fuck out of here!
Because nothing says masculine, right? Like hanging somebody you disagree with. There was once a time, I'm not even reading too much into this dude's reporting per se past this particular point. I'm going to go ahead. You saw the reporting. I gave you the title. You know where to go to get it. But there was a time in this country's history where there were people hung up from everywhere below the goddamn Canadian border. There was a time in every state, in every municipality, in every locality, in every city in this country where people were being hung up and strung up. And more often than not, if we are to live in that society, we have to look at the historical footprint this society has when it comes to hanging people and how many of those people were innocent. Well, back then we don't know, but nowadays we definitely know, where you have these organizations like the Innocence Project, which detail with great specificity the types of people who are normally targeted and who are normally innocent. And those numbers are black. And if you think it was bad or is bad now, how much more so worse was it back then when the lynchings were going on? And don't think for 1 second that I don't know that this is some type of pushback on the anti-lynching bill that was passed. That's just the way these people move. Like that dude, Harlan Crow, using so-called people of color. One of the many catalytic points for black people here in America to start delineating and creating separation. And now the Asians and the goddamn Hispanics are wanting to know why black people are taking a step away from them. And not a small step, a noticeably big step. Not all black people, because my people love, and when we love hard. So not all black people, but a lot of us have taken a tremendous step away from from having our voices speak to your issues. Because you guys don't have no problem with siding with people who are openly our enemies. Who do you think will be targeted with these goddamn public hangings? And before any one of you get it out of context to sit here and say, oh, well, this is only for the military, or this is only for particular circumstances. Let's go back to the reporting for edification, right? He says, and I quote, and this is the second paragraph. So this isn't asking you guys to read too deeply into this article. Second paragraph, he says, quote, if I'm in charge later, we won't just have a 3 strikes law. We will quickly try and hang men after 3 violent crimes. And yes, we will do it in public to deter others. Joe Lonsdale wrote on X. I have worked on cases where the police have targeted people, planted evidence on people, and screwed their life up. And you would say, okay, well, he comes home, he goes on the straight and narrow and blah, blah, blah. No, sir. No, sir. When he comes back home, they plant more stuff on him and he goes back. That's a second strike. Then what happens the third time and they plant enough to get him life in prison? This guy's logic says, well, kill him at that point. Because if you think it stays with just violent crimes, you're out of your mind. Trump is right now using extrajudicial tactics to kill people smuggling in drugs that he alleges to be smuggling in drugs. These people aren't committed to the practice, the scientific practice of the law. That's scientific. That's very scientific in nature. And yeah, at the end of the day, all of that scientific approach, like the Brandeis approach to briefing, ultimately culminates in a jurist's best approximation to the law, but that's all science is. Best approximations. And then people later on come along, see that this was wrong with that, but everything else was right. So they remove that or fix that or alter that, and now science can function more perfectly moving forward. And then somebody else comes along, sees that there was something else that was wrong about that particular thing, contours it, and moves it forward. That's how Strickland v. Washington turns into Lafleur v. Cooper. These people aren't committed to the art form of upholding the law, the scientific art form of upholding the law. So they'll work on sentiment. Oh, they won't? Look at what they're doing right now. Look at their domestic terrorist lists, blacklists that they're creating right now. There's no science to that. It's just how you make me feel and the words you use. A complete violation of the First Amendment. But they think in their infinite short-sighted wisdom, they think that they're going somehow going to perform an end run around the First Amendment. It's the first for a reason. And if they are successful in toppling the First Amendment, everybody is going to uphold their second. Everybody. Everybody.
Every single person.
And these guys, they don't care because look at them. They're migrating to military bases right now. They want us to eat crow. All of us. And it doesn't matter from the Fred Hampton perspective.
We don't think you fight fire with fire fists. We think you fight fire with water fists. We're going to fight racism, not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity. We said we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism. We stood up and said we're not going to fight reactionary pigs and reactionary state's attorneys like this and reactionary state's attorneys like Hanrahan with any other reactions on our part. We're going to fight their reactions where all of us people are getting together and have an international proletarian revolution. Right on. And that's saying all power to the people. Right. That's saying that no matter what color you are, there's only two classes. And that's saying there's a class over here and there's a class over there. And the reason that this class over here has never did anything to get this class off its back because this is lower, this is upper. This is the oppressed, this is the oppressor. This is the exploited, this is the exploiter. And these people in this class have divided themselves. They say, I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly and I hate Indians. So we fight amongst each other. And you've heard the testimony of pigs here. You got pigs of all colors, you know that. You got pigs that are white, you got pigs that are black, you even got pigs that are black and white. Propagating the same type of madness that this buffoon Hanrahan would be propagating if he were here himself. And why? Because they want to keep you to believing that I'm your enemy, and that everybody else that's black and that wears a lot of hair on his head and hair on his face, they want to keep you thinking that he's your enemy. Why? Because if ever you would disregard him and overlook him just for a minute and throw away that question of racism and start into dealing with a little logic, then there would be no one else you could attack other than Hanrahan, other than Davy, and other than Tricky Dicky Nixon.
It doesn't matter if you're white, black, red, brown, or yellow. It does not matter. So-called yellow, so-called white, so-called black, or so-called brown. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. It does not matter. At the end of the day, they're taking a shit, and they're taking a shit on all of us. But what a public hanging will do, it will allow some of us to feel as though we're better than those being executed. And it'll bring out the picnics, like they used to do back in the day. It'll bring out the barbecues, like it did back in the day. And you think these people don't have it in them to sit back and turn an event where people are being lynched into a public spectacle, where people have brought festivities to the arrangement? You're out of your mind, bro. You're out of your mind, and you're equally out of your mind. You're contemporaneously out of your mind if you believe for 1 second that the predominant number of people being lynched won't be black. Because you can call public hangings whatever you want to make it sound, varnish it with 21st century vernacular and hesitation around phraseology, but at the end of the day, it's a fucking lynching, public or not.